Greetings, grade 12s. So this video, I'm going to be doing a very quick difference between DNA and RNA. So as a fit into where this goes in the syllabus, we've talked about nucleic acids and the structure of nucleic acids in general. We've talked a little bit about DNA replication, but now it's time to learn about the different forms of nucleic acids. Remember, I told you there are various forms of nucleic acids that exist. However, the generic structure stays relatively the same. So the two that we are going to be comparing today, which you need to know about, is deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, and ribonucleic acid. The utility of ribonucleic acid will start to make sense when we start talking protein synthesis. So what I would like you to do first as well is I would like you to copy this table for yourself. We are going to do a comparison of the DNA versus the RNA for these four main categories: the shape, the sugar, base, and the general length. So the picture that I'm showing you here shows a very good visual representation of the difference between these two types of nucleic molecules. And then, as you can see, I've got some of the nitrogenous bases on the side here. So when we first look at this, visually, what can we tell that's different? Well, first of all, the main big difference between DNA and RNA is that DNA has two strands versus RNA, which only has one strand. That's one of the first main differences that you can tell between them. So what we're going to add in terms of the shape, we're going to say that DNA is a double helix. So there's two strands of polynucleotides, and the helix means that it is twisted around itself. Whereas RNA is a single strand. So there's no twisting, there's no nothing else. It is literally just a long string of nucleotides. It will make sense why it is that shape when we do protein synthesis. So that is the first major difference. The second major difference that we find between DNA and RNA is the type of sugar that is found in the sugar phosphate backbone. So both the sugars that are found in DNA and RNA are pentose sugars. This is so five-sided sugars. They've got 5 carbons in a ring. But the difference between them is the sugar in DNA is very much, as the name suggests, is deoxyribose sugar. So deoxyribose sugar is found in deoxyribonucleic acid. And the sugar that is found in RNA is ribose sugar. So deoxyribose, essentially saying an oxygen been taken out, but we don't need to worry about that chemical structure. The sugar of the DNA is deoxyribose, the sugar of RNA is ribose. It'll still be the same sugar phosphate backbone that goes through an RNA molecule. So this pink bit that's going down the side here will still be sugar phosphate, sugar phosphate, sugar phosphate. The only difference being that it is a ribose sugar that is going down, alternating with phosphates, as opposed to a deoxyribose going down this direction. Then if we look at our difference between our nitrogenous bases. So in DNA we find adenine, RNA we also have adenine, guanine and guanine, cytosine and cytosine, but the difference comes in that DNA has the single ring nitrogenous base thymine, but an RNA molecule will have the single ring nitrogenous base uracil. So that is the next difference that we have here. So the base, you will have thymine, and in RNA, you will have uracil. So you still have adenine, guanine, cytosine, still have adenine, guanine, cytosine, but the only difference being that there's thymine and uracil on one side. Then the only difference that we can, or additional difference that we can say is just in terms of the length, just a sort of semantic problem, is that the DNA is a long chain of polynucleotides, whereas in comparison to DNA, RNA is a short length of nucleotides. So that really is the main differences between DNA and RNA. So while I'm here, so here's the final table that we're going to have as our comparison between DNA and RNA. Obviously, if you were going to be drawing this as a question, you would add in a heading, because all tables need headings. One last thing just to add in, because we've now introduced this concept of RNA, we need to know that there are different types of RNA that exist. So there are 2 types of RNA that you need to worry about. So the first type is messenger RNA. And we generally abbreviate this to small letter M and then RNA. And the other type you need to know about is transfer RNA, and we abbreviate this to little letter T and RNA. These two types of RNA become very important when we start discussing protein synthesis, and we'll start talking about those in our next videos. There are other forms of RNA that exist, such as ribosomal RNA, for example, but from a SAG's perspective, you only need to worry about mRNA and tRNA. That's it for this video. Make sure you go back, pause, rewind, make sure you make lots of notes to make sure that you understand the difference, to be able to talk about these differences yourselves, maybe sketch. If I asked you maybe to sketch two different nucleotides between a DNA and an RNA to show a difference, however you maybe want to do from there. As always, hit me up on my Skype if you want to have a conversation or meeting on Teams. Otherwise, you can get hold of me through here. Thanks very much, guys.